Welcome back to Falling Fox Gaming, everybody. I am your host Blaine, and today we're starting a brand new series on how to play Teardown for beginners. The first thing we're going to teach you guys is how to play the game from the very basics all the way up to getting through the first couple of missions. When you first start the game, you'll start here on this little road over here, and you'll walk your way this way, and you'll be confronted with your first obstacle, opening the door. Now, these gates are pretty simple to open. All you have to do is right-click and pull. Now, doors in this game seem to be my bane, and I seem to struggle with them sometimes, but that's just my own stupidity. All it is just holding right-click once the reticule turns into a circle, and just moving it left to right. That's all it really is. Another thing you can do by right-clicking is picking up objects. This works with most things in the game, including heavy objects like a car. You can actually just right-click and drag things. This works with a lot of like the broken stuff on the map, including like bricks that you can actually throw by left-clicking, or stack of tires, or even grabbing the bottom box to destroy something like that. You do that by right-clicking and holding, and then left-click to throw. Something as simple as picking up a barrel and throwing it at a brick wall can cause damage like that. Now, I'm not going to say go ahead and use this as a primary way of destroying things on the map, because that'll take you forever. There's usually always faster ways. But if you're trying to save resources on the map for something specific, this is a really good way of destroying something. The next thing I'm going to show you is the difference between some of the materials that the sledgehammer can and cannot destroy. The first is wood. Sledgehammers are excellent at just destroying wood debris, or even just generic objects that are on the map with a sledgehammer. However, when you step up to things like metal, it simply can't do anything. Or drywall. You see it can break through the drywall, but not the bricks behind it. Windows, absolutely. And if you keep hitting, you'll notice that the metal bars will never break, no matter how many times you hit it with a sledgehammer. The next object in the game you have is the spray can. The spray can is pretty simple. You just left-click to spray. If you stand close to something and spray, you make a little line. If you spray from far away, you make a big line. This is actually pretty useful for spraying far away on buildings like that, because you can mark spots on buildings for you to destroy with certain vehicles if you want to be a little more accurate with things. One good example is if you know that there's like explosive pipelines right here and you want to make a note for yourself not to destroy it, you can mark over here to come by with something like a crane. Spray can can also be used to make notes for yourself when you're running quick time events on the map, such as the 60 seconds that you're usually given to complete a mission. Something as simple as doing a spray like a circle is really helpful when you're halfway across the map and you're like, crap, I forgot which direction I need to go, and you see a yellow circle on the ground. Another time this is useful is if you go to the map by hitting tab, you can actually see your spray paint on the ground. Now, spray paint has some other uses that are a little more mundane and not really useful for the actual missions itself, but it can be fun to do, just like graffitiing up certain things, like this. The final beginning object we get in the game is a fire extinguisher. The fire extinguisher is kind of cool because you have unlimited uses of it, unlike when you unlock the blowtorch, which only has 30 seconds to begin with. This one has 60 seconds now because I've upgraded it. But the fire extinguisher's primary purpose is to save your butt during missions where you're not allowed to set large fires. Now, the mission will usually tell you that starting large fires will call in the fire department or whatever, so then you have to make sure you don't do large fires. If you end up doing something accidentally, like once you unlock the blowtorch starting too big of a fire, such as this, you can use the fire extinguisher to put out your fire pretty rapidly. The more you move around, the more effective it seems to be. That's pretty much the only real tip you need to know about it. So in general, the best way to put out fires is to stand back a little bit and move side to side. Next up is using vehicles in the game. Many vehicles in the game have a simple purpose of just being transportation or simple destruction objects, such as the dump truck. Now, the dump truck is probably one of my favorite vehicles because it's pretty durable. It tends to break a little bit slower than some of the other vehicles. By using the left and right mouse button, you can raise and lower the bed on the dump truck, which is really cool because you can do some, miscellaneous things with it, creating artificial ramps or destroying bigger sections of walls. Other vehicles, such as the crane, have a little bit more complex and difficult things that they can do. The crane, by hitting spacebar on objects around the map, can actually grab them. So if you raise or lower it to a point where the hook can actually touch an object, if you hit spacebar, it'll attach itself to stuff. usually loose debris or vehicles or whatever, and you can grab it. Now, where this is most useful is on missions where you're not supposed to grab something or you're not supposed to be able to move something without triggering an alarm. Well, this can oftentimes just grab the object and drag it around, such as a boat or a vehicle that's not supposed to move, or a crate. You can also use it to swing objects and destroy walls without destroying the vehicle itself. Now, one complaint about the crane is that you can't move it left and right, so it makes it very difficult to use it like a wrecking ball, but you can do it. The trick to it is to move forward and away from the surface you want to destroy, like this, and then you back up and turn in that same direction, so you spin really quickly. So in this case, we're actually going to be turning the wheels. If you look in the front there, you can see which direction the wheels are turning. You move the wheels to the left because the target's on the right, and then you back up. And then you stop, and you swing the vehicle. Now this doesn't really work that well because this car is pretty destroyed and that's a brick structure right there. But you can do it with the wood here pretty easily. So again, back up and then turn. Smash. Just like that. So once you've had fun destroying your little construction area with the different vehicles that you start off with, which I don't think is actually that many, it's more of just a playground with smashing things with your hammer at first. You unlock these vehicles as you kind of play missions. To start a mission, you just simply come over to the computer, push E, and you can see that in this profile I've done a few missions already, but not all that many. I've only done, what, 6? Yeah, I've completed 6 only. There's a whole bunch. But the first one you get is gas bill, and the very first mission you get is old building problem. So if you click on it, it starts up the mission, and it kind of gives you a little bit of backstory of what's going on. In all honesty, usually you don't have to read this. It's a little bit helpful, but it really doesn't provide all that much detail. It's more of just kind of backstory funsies. All you have to do is click on the mission. For you, it'll say something a little bit different. Mine is repeat, basically. So mission, old building problem, you click on it, and you go back to the advertised mall, and then you click old building problem, and then see, for me it's replay, but for you it'll just say start mission, or something like that. Then the mission will load, and here we are. You start off at the very first mission. Now this is essentially a tutorial mission because there's nothing that you have to actually do other than destroy this building, which is great because it tells you right there the building is 6.3 meters too tall, which means you have to essentially destroy this entire building to the ground. Now the game allows you to kind of do whatever you want here. There's no actual mission objective other than that, so you can't really fail it other than maybe dying, but it'd be really difficult to die unless you're really being, neglectful. If you push tab, when you're in the map screen, you can actually use the mouse wheel to scroll up and down and zoom in and out. You can click on the different tabs over here to change the position on the map really quickly, such as the primary target, your position, or the escape vehicle. This mission, all you have to do is simply use the tools that they give you, dump truck, front loader, and propane tanks to destroy this building. But the easiest way to do this mission, if you just want to get through it really fast, is to use the front loader. And similar to the crane I showed you, you use the left and the right mouse button to move the bucket up and down. Now with the front loader, you can literally just drive through this building. That's how powerful it is. But you'll notice that your vehicle takes damage as you're driving through structures, depending on what structures you're driving through. If you drive through tough things like metal, it will destroy your vehicle pretty rapidly. The wood isn't that strong, so it's not that damaging. As you can see, my vehicle is still in pretty good shape. I mean, relatively good shape. More than enough to keep it driving, though, I guess in real life you'd probably be dead by now. And the cool thing with the front loader is you can actually just sit inside buildings and just raise and lower the bucket to destroy them. Now because we've used a decent amount of that vehicle, let's switch over to the excavator. The excavator has a little bit taller reach, where it can just destroy things, such as this. Now, again, I feel like the front loader does this a lot quicker and a lot faster, but I guess if you are just playing around, you can definitely have a good time destroying things with it. And there you have it. That's all it really took. And it's actually pretty easy even with the excavator, which is probably the hardest vehicle to use. So that's all you have to do for the first mission. You just destroy that building with whatever tools you have here, the vehicles or the propane tanks or even just your hammer, and then you just go to the exit vehicle. Pretty much every mission ends with you escaping to your vehicle. and you drive off. And then it will show you a summary of how you did. Now every target you acquire, both primary and secondary, will give you another dot, which increases your score, which leads to what you unlock at the main construction site and in free play mode. So if you push continue, you get put back at your construction site, where if you've unlocked any new tools or toys or vehicles, they'll be out here around in your map. Well, that is all for the first video. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope it was helpful for those of you that are just starting the game. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and watch out for my next video, which will show you how to do the second and third mission in the game, which both take place on the same map, but have two very different objectives. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.